The 2021 NFL season was an up and down situation for the Minnesota Vikings linebackers. Obviously, Eric Kendricks was a star of the show there. Eric Kendricks is a stud, played well all year long. Nothing negative to say there. But everybody else, again, I think that's really where the up and down starts. I mean, Anthony Barr was obviously injured to start the year. When he came back, he played solid. Nick Vigil had the spot start for him a couple games. Nick Vigil started off really well and then kind of tailed off near the end of the year.
Right.
And then everybody else, Blake Lynch, I think, has a bright future with the team.
Right.
Didn't get a ton of playing time, so that'd be nice to see that change. I think a lot of potential. I think there's a lot of potential with him. Yeah, man. I don't know. What were your thoughts on the linebackers this season?
I would say, yeah, I agree. It was up and down. Just like our whole defense pretty much was up and down. It wasn't the best year. Eric Kendricks, absolute stud. Anthony Barr did solid when he was in. You still wish Mike Zimmer would use him more in the pass rush and everything like that. Hopefully, well, we'll see. I think one of the biggest things for me, though, with this year in the linebackers was the lack of seeing Troy Dye and Chaz Surratt.
Yep. Yeah.
Surratt, because Troy Dye, he had probably one of the best, I would probably say easily, one of the best preseasons out of any of our players. And then to not really see him play at all. And then Chaz Surratt obviously was a third round pick, right?
Yeah.
That's when we picked him.
Yep.
And literally didn't get a single defensive snap. And it was the Mike Zimmer thing. So, I mean, obviously we've moved on from that. So I would just say that part was disappointing to me that we didn't get to see more of them at the same time, because maybe we would have seen a little bit extra stuff there. And at least we would have got them some experience for next year. But
definitely.
But yeah, besides that, we got our player reviews and we'll kind of dig into each one individually. Before we do that, though, I'm going to ask everyone to hit the subscribe button and the bell. Whenever, so that way, whenever we send up a video, you get a notification. We're GG Sport podcast for the Vikings. Let's move on.
All right, sounds good. Let's jump into some of these stats here. So we talked about Eric Kendricks, stud linebacker, star of the show at the position. Second team All-Pro this season with these stats, 15 games, 143 tackles, 100 solo tackles, the 5 sacks, and the 2 interceptions. And all that leads to a measly 59.6 PFF grade. PFF, what are you doing?
Yeah. I mean, I think PFF does a pretty solid job along a lot of the times. This is one where they definitely missed because Eric Kendricks ended up being our only player who made the All-Pro team this year. So I think they missed out on this one. I mean, even if you were watching the games, he was all over the place. 143 tackles, like you said. I mean, this guy's a stud. He's a Pro Bowler. He's a All-Pro. I hope this guy's going to be good for years to come still. And I think he's just that important to our team. And if not, he might be the most important player on our defense, actually.
Right. And I'm excited to see what he could do in a potential 3-4 defense situation. I'm excited to see how they would use him, how they would change things up.
I was just going to say, since I'm not extremely familiar with 3-4, just because obviously we've always been a 4-3 in my entire life. But I do think in a 4, they kind of like to have 2 more like middle linebacker type guys instead of 1, don't they?
Yeah, I think what you get in the 3-4 is you get the nose tackle. I think you get 2 somewhat like pass rushing guys. That you might have a 3 tech in there. And then you usually have 2 stand-up, the 2 stand-up outside linebackers as your other pass rushers, and then you got the 2 linebackers in the middle. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think he'd excel in that type of situation.
Definitely.
Jumping into grades on Eric Kendricks, A+. You can't complain much about Eric Kendricks.
Yeah.
Every time he's on the field, he flashes. So A+ for Eric Kendricks for me.
Yeah. Sorry, PFF. I got to give him an A+ as well. I mean, he made the All-Pro team.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Stud.
This guy's a stud. We go to a 3-4, and we got, one of the best captains, one of the best guys we want to control that unit on our team. And I'd be definitely okay with adding another person in there for him to kind of help out and stuff. So
definitely. Looking forward, Anthony Barr played 11 games. Obviously, he missed the first couple games of the season with I believe was a knee injury. 72 tackles, 2.5 sacks, 3 interceptions, which was solid. He had a couple nice ones, and then 63.9 PFF grade, higher than Eric Kendricks somehow. Anthony Barr, we've talked about it in this episode already. Misused. I think he's been misused his whole career. He's definitely in a 3-4. He would be one of your outside pass rushing linebackers. I think you would use him in that type of a game plan. I would like to see what he could do. Obviously, he is a free agent, as we talked about in our last video, actually, with his cap hit and with the void years spread out. He technically is a free agent as of right now. They'd have to extend him or offer him a new contract and extend him. I don't know if they will. I know O'Connell has talked about him. I think it would be really interesting. I think it'd be a very interesting situation to bring him back in this new style of defense that we're going to run under Ed Donatel.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's built for kind of that fourth outside linebacker, or that rushing linebacker in that 3-4 defense. So I would be excited, but at the same time, I definitely wouldn't be surprised if he isn't on our team next year. And I wouldn't if he wasn't willing to take some sort of like team friendly deal. I would get it.
Right.
So, but that's the thing, is just because I still feel like he has that. I feel like Mike Zimmer is holding him back for some reason. He has this injury thing too. That's worth noting, but I still think he was. So I would be cool if we had him next year. And I would hate to see him. I feel like he'd be the guy that goes to another team and then excels like insane. So.
Yeah. Yep.
So grades wise though, what do you think?
Man. C+. I don't know.
C+.
I like Anthony Barr, but God, I just don't feel like he's ever lived up to those expectations that was set for him being a first round pick. This year, he's got some gaudy stats. The 3 interceptions is nice. I don't know. I mean, maybe B-, but I think I'm going to stick at the C+. It's just uninspiring football. You know, you don't hear his name much when you should hear it more. And C+.
Yeah. I'll go with your B-. I agree. Pretty much everything you said. It's I was 11 games, 3 interceptions, 2.5 sacks. That's still pretty good in that amount of games. So I'll give him that B-. But he has to stay healthy. And I mean, he's someone that I was hoping would have 10 sack seasons, stuff like that. But I don't know if that's for sure his fault, but I don't know.
Right.
But.
Yeah. Who knows? But yeah, that's it. It's it on old Anthony Barr, number 55. Will be interesting to see what they decide to do with him going forward here. So Nick Vigil, 12 starts, 85 tackles, 1 sack, 1 interception, and 1 touchdown, 42.6 PFF grade. To start the year, played great. He had was his touchdown in the game against Arizona?
I think so. Or I don't remember, but it was in the beginning of the year.
But he had the nice interception in Arizona. That game was really where he really flashed, and people thought, hey, maybe this guy's better than Anthony Barr. I don't think that.
I remember.
But the hot start was later tarnished by just a really quiet end of the year. And some of that could be with Anthony Barr coming back, but just never made any splash plays at all. I mean, he played solid, but to start, it was exciting to start the year, but he kind of came back down to earth. He's a backup linebacker, honestly.
Right. I mean, 42.6 BFF, that's, we were talking about Kendricks and stuff, but 42.6, that's extremely low, I would say. And especially with his good start of the year, I think I even remember texting you and stuff in that first couple games with him, since he was covering for Anthony Barr, and he's just really stood out. Like, I think I had him as probably my standout guy on defense for like the first 2 games or something like that. So, but
yeah,
definitely came back down to earth.
Right, for sure. Grading wise on Vigil, I mean, if I give Anthony Barr a C and I say that this guy made less of an impact when Barr came, or C+, and I say this guy made less of an impact when Anthony Barr came back, I'll give Vigil a C. I mean, he started good. If he played well the whole year, I'd probably have given him somewhere in the B- range, but I'll give him a C. I thought he just had an average season overall.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him a C-. I think because of his start of the season, I'd put it a little higher, or that's the reason why it's not a D. But I think he just really tailed off a lot, and you just didn't see much from him, and it just wasn't the same impact he made in the beginning. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to go C- with him.
That's fair. That's fair. Fair grade. I think he's one of those free agents that, I think he'll be let go personally. I don't think they'll bring him back. I don't think they'll offer him anything.
I don't think so, especially with all the young talent. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how our new coaching staff how they feel and look at our new talent. Everything's just going to be so different this year. It's going to be crazy. But like we already talked about Troy Dye and Chasserat. We got 2 young guys who were drafted pretty early in back-to-back drafts. And, I think you got to see what we have in those guys. I mean, they're supposed to be really good. Chasserat's supposed to be one of those guys that can run all over the field and have all that athleticism. So I think I agree with you. I think we see him walk, and then I think we'll see more from them. And I wouldn't be surprised if I do think would not be surprised if we do draft a linebacker in the first 2 rounds potentially.
Yeah. Really interesting to see there. Moving on.
Go 3-4.
Another young guy.
Harrison Smith cameo.
Another young guy, Blake Lynch. 6 starts, 35 tackles, 2 sacks, a forced fumble, interception, and a 64.6 PFF grade. I mean, obviously, he is a rotational linebacker. He was on, because obviously when Barr was out, Vigil started. But I think, Blake Lynch had a lot of flashes. When he was on the field and when he was in some plays, his name was brought up a lot. I think he's got a potential to be a very solid player in the league, especially for the Vikings. And I was happy with the way he played. I thought he played very, very well.
Yeah. I mean, if we talk about like his expectation and how well he played, I would say he definitely played very well. He came in and I think played better than Vigil for sure.
I mean, he ended up getting playing time over a guy like Surratt, who they spent a 3rd round pick on, and played more than Troy Dye as well. So he was obviously, in Zimmer's eyes, the next guy in line there. So I thought I like him. I like him. I'll even give him a B for the season. Again, expectation and all that. I thought as a rotational linebacker, I thought he played really well. I'll give him a B.
I'm going to give him a B too.
Solid player.
Yeah, based on expectation, not tons of playing time, but he did get 6 starts. Yeah, I feel like a B's a solid grade for that situation there.
Yeah, definitely. I was very happy to see him. I mean, I think the linebackers are interesting, man, especially with that switch to a 3-4.
I know. I don't even know what to expect, man. I know.
I mean, and obviously, a couple of these guys are still on the roster, so it'll be interesting. Yeah.
That is the last of the linebackers. We already talked about Troy Dye. I think he had a few snaps or something, not much, and then Chasserat didn't have a single snap. He was only on special teams. Am I missing someone? I don't know. Maybe I am, but he definitely didn't play. If I am,
I think
that's pretty much it. But the main thing though is just, if we turn into 3-4, just how things can be different and it could change a lot of things. And
if we go to a 3-4, more linebackers are going to get playing time. Like that's just the way it is. You add 4 linebackers, and 2 of them will be more pass rushers. But and it doesn't even. I think in a 3-4, it doesn't even need to be linebackers that are pass rushers. I think you could take a defensive end and put them at stand up.
Oh yeah,
but
for sure.
But
that's what you usually would see is like a Daniel Hunter going there. Like you see Mac with Chicago, and he kind of plays that stand up 4-3 or whatever. Von Miller. So you do see that
linebacker who's an outside linebacker by trade, but he is a pass rusher. I mean, everybody knows that. And I think Bradley Chubb was the same way for the Broncos as well.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. That's why I think so. You see that a lot with like these defensive. They're pretty much oversized, big, strong linebackers with a lot of speed and stuff like that. And I think Anthony Barr is right on the cusp of that. I feel like he's just like slightly more towards that that linebacker size and stuff. But I think as a 4-3, I think that's why he could be perfect for that spot, for that pass rush spot on that 4 or 3-4. So
but man, it's again exciting times. It'll be really, really interesting to see what we do with the linebackers and where that goes in the future. And let's go, man. It's going to be moving fast here. So with that being said, that will wrap up our review of the Minnesota Vikings linebacker core. Give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Let us know down in the comments your thoughts on the linebackers. Give us your grades for all these guys. Let us know how you thought they played this year. If you want to check out some other video of ours, they'll be right up here for you guys. And also, most importantly, do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Check out all of our videos on down the road and the off-season and stuff. It's going to be exciting times. So until then, we will see you guys in the next episode.
SKOL Vikes.